When Meghan Markle became a member of the family, she was handed several special roles by the Queen. These included royal patronages of charities and other organizations that have long-standing links to the royal family. And one special job handed to Meghan once she married Prince Harry was the royal patron of the National Theatre. It seemed like the perfect fit as Meghan was an actress and had a high-profile role in TV legal drama Suits. However, according to one source, this role did not go down too well with Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, who is said to be a fan of the arts. They told, she really wanted it. She was pretty miffed when it went to Meghan. However, Meghan managed just one official visit to the National Theatre before she and Harry announced they were stepping down as senior royals and moving to the US for a new life. Last year, when it was announced neither Harry nor Meghan would be returning to public life, Meghan had to give up the role. And now, according to The Times, Camilla will be handed the patronage in the coming months. The source added Camilla will be all the more delighted to take it on now, after being disappointed not to get it first time round. However, it's not the first time there has seemingly been a wedge between the two women when it comes to the National Theatre. In 2020, Camilla was left very upset after Meghan insisted photos of her at the theatre appeared on the day as she gave the important address. Camilla had been planning today's speech on the 10th anniversary of the Women of the World Festival in London for nearly a year. But Meghan allegedly broke a pledge not to overshadow Camilla's vital campaign against abuse by getting the pictures of her private visit to the National Theatre to be published the same day. Palace officials remained tight-lipped about the row, but one well-placed insider said at the time, Camilla's work is very important to her, and her decision to highlight the scourge of domestic violence at the 10th negation anniversary of Women of the World was a carefully thought-out plan. Over the last 4 years, she has worked tirelessly, mostly behind the scenes but to great effect, to use her negation platform and personal experiences to highlight the issue and help sufferers. Of course, it was known Harry and Meghan would be doing engagements this week, some privately, but everyone was in agreement that Camilla's speech should take negation precedence. Negation. Unfortunately, some people had other ideas. Another news, Prince Harry filed a judicial review against the Home Office after being denied permission to pay for himself and his family's private security. Security expert Richard J. Aitch that there is no comparison between the private police protection the Duke is using in the US and the government-provided detail the UK can offer. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle saw their security arrangements completely overhauled after announcing they were stepping down as working members of the royal family in 2020. The director of operations for Mobius International Security told Royal US, cost alone shouldn't be based solely on his role within the family, and the taxpayers funded that service, besides the fact that Harry has now removed that argument in its entirety. He's offered to pay police protection so the UK government can't turn around and say the UK taxpayer isn't actually now going to fund this because you're no longer providing a service to the people. Now he has offered to pay for it in its entirety, so when you have to make a comparison between the private sector and the UK, and that of the government-led provision, there is no comparison whatsoever. And we're not just discussing the differences between manpower from a government police protection provision and that sort of private sector. He added, if Harry came home to the UK and he received private sector-only security, that security is compounded by not only the lack of competence and performance on the ground generally by those individuals, but also the fact that you don't have the usual intelligence flows. But on top of that, which is probably the most influential aspect over all of them, is the fact that they don't have the law on their side. So police put a police provision of protection to someone in the UK, because they have the power of the law, they can create sterile and secure areas, they can prevent access by the civilians on the ground venues. They can control traffic flow and they can go whatever speed they like, they can stop traffic. I mean, just this in itself reduces the risk to threat quite considerably. Mr. H continued, in terms of cost and his role, those arguments don't really balance well with the current situation. In terms of risk, there's an argument that the government says that now he is no longer a member of the royal family, his risk is now lowered. And I would actually argue, on the contrary, it has actually increased by virtue of the fact you have removed police protection from him. So his risk on the ground is increased exponentially in comparison. You can't, especially in the UK, make a comparison between a government provision close protection and that of a private sector.